For years, California's voting system has faced controversies and scrutiny, with the state even getting sued for apparently failing to maintain their voter list in 2019. And recently, with the DOJ suing California's Secretary of State for not handing over voters' private information to the Trump administration. Ultimately, the lawsuit was dismissed by a federal judge, and it's not because the DOJ has lost a lot of its punch lately with its absolutely embarrassing performance.
A list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email.
But because she thought it was a threat to America's democracy. While I can see why handing over the state's voters' private information to the federal government would be a bad thing, since it would basically give the Trump administration more power, I can also see why the administration wants to verify voters in California, and it has to do with the way people vote in that state. In California, you're able to vote without an ID like photo ID or driver license. Simply what matters is that the name and signature you register your vote matches one that belongs to a US citizen registered in that state that hasn't voted yet. So in theory, if you know a US citizen that's registered in the state of California to vote, but they don't plan on voting for whatever reason, and you know their name, signature, and have the exceptions covered, you could cast that vote. Now, if they find a match, they will then check to see if that person already voted. If they didn't vote, it's counted. As you've seen, if someone wanted to exploit this weakness, they could, but it would be a felony, and recently a woman was charged for committing voting fraud.
Accusing 62-year-old Laura Urex of illegally registering her dog to vote and trying to cast ballots in her dog's name in the 2021 recall election and the 2022 primary. Urex reported herself to the registrar's office. In order to cast a ballot in a state election, the only thing required is an affidavit of registration, paperwork that asks for things like a name, address, and political preference, but does not require proof. The dog's ballot was accepted in the state recall election. Urex is facing 5 felonies, including perjury, procuring or offering a false or forged document to be filed, 2 felony counts of casting a ballot when not entitled to vote, and registering a non-existent person to vote.
So to fix this, a significant number of people are proposing to have a mandatory government photo ID instead of a signature-only system for verifying votes, which may reduce the amount of votes and increase its accuracy, since it will make it harder for impersonation and human errors to happen. But it would also alienate other groups of people like the homeless, young adults, and other similar groups that can't afford to get an ID. At least that's what critics argue.